The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading, and markets in the red, but we're just jumping around right now. Really, we traded lower last night, right out of the gates at about 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We trade negative from about the close of 6,090. You trade down to 6,050 on a few occasions. Right now, we have the S&Ps trading down 30 points at 6,059. If you look at that close, it was almost up to 6,100. 6,109 the highs yesterday. NASDAQ 100 were negative by about 118 points, or 0.5%. Dow off by a similar 0.5% as well, and the Russell off by 0.8%. We jump over to yields. We jump over to the 10-year. You see a little bit of volatility. We're going to jump over to retail sales in a moment. We got lower price, higher yield on that number, but right now 4.42. All things considered, just kind of chopping around with where we were most of yesterday at a 4.42 yield on the 10-year. We jump over to the dollar this morning, back above 98. We were pushing the lows yesterday at 97.70. We're trading at 98.18 right now for the dollar. And you jump over to that gold contract. Gold at 34.07, chopping around right near 3,400 right now. You jump over to the volatility index. A little bit of a spike last night on that futures. We're sitting just above 20 at 20.25 on that volatility index. All right, we jump to retail sales. Falling for the second month in May, suggesting an anxiety over tariffs. Yeah. Prompted consumers to pull back after an early year spending rush. There's going to be a lot of volatility in these numbers, man. When you think about the demand that got pulled forward, right? I mean, this is where, the GDP numbers, right? The trade balance, all these numbers are very skewed right now with everybody trying to get in front of the tariffs and then navigating right after the tariffs. Think about that deadline. If you're a business, you pulled everything you could, right? There were all these stories as the tariffs were coming, right? Apple was renting tanker. Everybody's trying to bring in every product they can ahead of those for obvious reasons. Even consumers in the same way. Nonetheless, retail sales, 0.9% is the number. And yeah, that's following a downwardly revised 0.1% drop in April. The estimate they were looking for was down just 0.6%. If you take out autos, the number was down 0.3%. They were looking for an increase, okay? 7 of the 13 categories posted declines, dragged down by building materials, gasoline, and motor vehicles, which came after a buying spree, right? Man, so much demand pulled forward when you look at it to that context. The control group sales, and that factors into goods spending for GDP, increased 0.4% in May, supported by gains in sporting goods, furniture, and apparel. And that measure excludes food services, auto dealers, building materials, and gas stations. Yeah, we'll see where the Fed goes. They got quite a task ahead of them, man, to put it lightly. U.S. expands military footprint in the Middle East as Trump says he wants to end the conflict. Now, what's remarkable here is, let me find the right headline. And so the headline here was Trump says he's working on something bigger. And they constantly are updating this. It's a live feed, right? And man, I hope so. But boy, there's a potential for this to drag on and tensions, and you tie into oil in that. Okay, we jump over to oil. as we're sitting at a relatively reasonable 71.69 right now with Israel and Iran exchanging missiles, the U.S. beefing up what they have going on in the Middle East, and we got crude sitting at $71, man. We got crude sitting at, $3.10 a gallon for a gallon of gas. Not bad, to put it lightly. All right, we jump around to some equities. You got Apple shares down by about $1 to $1.97 so far this morning. You jump over to Amazon, down by about $2. Quite a charge higher for Amazon shares yesterday. Oracle shares, slight give back yesterday. You're off by about $1 today. Tesla shares trading down a few dollars to $3.26. You jump over to Nvidia shares this morning, trading down to $1.44. We take a look at the price and volume. Okay, on the S&Ps. Now, what's interesting here is we had some big-time volume on Friday, of course, when the market trades lower. Okay, you get a pop yesterday. You can't do as much volume as you did on Friday, but that's still a strong volume bar. That's more volume than we've done. Yesterday, you did 1.85 million contracts. That's a big day to get that type of acceleration. That's the most volume we've done outside of Friday since you're talking about the move in April. We take a look at the NASDAQ 100 in terms of the type of momentum and volume we have in this market. And yeah, that was quite a charge higher yesterday. But unimpressive is the term I'll use. Unimpressive in the volume there, right? Friday, you rip lower on 548,000 contracts, and you only get 418 to the upside yesterday. Yesterday it looked like it was going to be a big day. Just couldn't get the volume of momentum follow-through that you'd really want to see there. All right, we jump over to JetBlue this morning. So, it never ends on JetBlue right now, folks. Okay, check it out. So, JetBlue, they're going to have a new cost cuts as softer than expected travel demand is making break-even operating margins this year unlikely. Yeah, right? Break-even 2025 unlikely due to weaker travel demand. They're going to be losing money. How much is that company worth if they can't make any money? None. Now, maybe they'll get back into a positive, okay, but it's not happening yet. They're going to further cut flights, pause retrofits, park some of its Airbus jets. They're assessing the size and scope of their leadership team. They've identified ways to combine or restructure certain roles for greater efficiency. They're in trouble, man. Jump over to this equity. So you're going to open down. I mean, it doesn't look like a lot. We're still a $1.5 billion company here. As in, there's still value that could get destroyed. On equities like this, folks, so you're going to open at $4.35. You're going to open down only 20 pennies. But guess what? 20 pennies on a $4 stock, okay? I expect you're going to have some volume on a move like that, on a news-driven event. You're going to open at $4.35. And yeah. Look at these lows, man. You got a low out here, right where we're going to be trading into. Correlates to the low we had here in April. Backing it up even further. I understand if people are looking for an acceleration, and technically, guess what? You're trading back into the base you had from 2008 all the way to 2012. The only thing I'll say is if you're getting into this equity, make sure that what you're risking, this thing could open up at zero any day, folks. Any day if you're getting into JetBlue. S&P's off 31. We'll come right back, folks.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps right now, negative by 32 points, trading off about 0.5%. And we jump around to what else we have going on, talking a little bit of Fed. And you jump to the journal out here. Okay. And yeah, so we got a Fed meeting tomorrow. And all indications are that they'll leave rates exactly where they are right now. If it were up to the president, that would not be the decision. But it's not up to the president just yet. But he gets to put somebody in that role within the next 11 months or so. And remember, the market looks forward about 6 to 9 months in the future. We're getting a new Fed chair no matter what happens, okay, next May. Now, this is what the Fed is pricing in. Right now, this meeting coming up June 18th, tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow, we get a Fed meeting. And yeah, 4.25 to 4.5%. Now, what's more interesting is that's where we are right now. That's where the market thinks we're going to be tomorrow. But where are we going to be in December? So after tomorrow, assume that we stay where we are right now, which the Fed's overnight lending rate, 4.25 to 4.5%. Okay. Let's assume that the market's right when it's 99.8% sure right now that they stay there. You're talking about only 4 more meetings by the end of the year. And when you go out to December, the market's looking for about 2 cuts. Okay? There's a probability we get 1. There's a probability we get 3. But realistically, you're in the middle. But guess what? There's still a 6% chance we stay where we are. Remember how many cuts were priced in at one point? So the market's still pricing in some cuts. Maybe you get 1 to 2. 22% chance we get 3. We get a little precursor tomorrow. But as the journal puts it, why the Fed isn't cutting rates despite cool inflation, holding pattern as it waits to see what worsens first, inflation or the labor market. Okay, they got a couple charts in here. And yeah, where are we going to go, right? Surveys for year ahead inflation expectations. That University of Michigan one, yeah, quite a drastic spike lower from where we were as tariff concerns were spiking. But you're still talking about consumers? They think inflation's coming, man. All right, the Fed, they're still above 3. And the Atlanta Fed is still at 2.5. We'd take 2.5 right now. The Fed would be cutting, I think, if they knew 2.5 was coming. Okay? And yeah, I liked this part of the article. A worry is that inflation concerns tend to be binary. People can't simply toggle off their sensitivity after the surge that we've been through. We're living with scars, right? And we're heightened to that. And so what's going to happen is the Fed's very worried about that coming back, okay? 5 years ahead, inflation expectations, University of Michigan. You're talking about consumers still think we're talking about 4% here, okay? The Fed's at 2.6. Nonetheless, Chairman Powell, he's going to answer some questions. We're going to air that press conference live right here at TFNN tomorrow, 2:30. And yeah, that'll always be an interesting one. All right, and this is talking a little real estate, all right? Now, rates. You talk about rates, you talk about the Fed, you talk about whether it's in mortgages, etc. But developers are finally dealing with the office oversupply problem. And check this one out, right? So, office conversions by construction status and estimated year of completion. Now, announced versus underway versus completed, okay? But look at the announced. There's some big projects coming down the line. The pace of office conversions is picking up thanks to the rapidly falling prices of those office buildings, right? It kind of speaks to at a certain price, I'd be a buyer of any equity. At a certain price, I'd be a seller of any equity. Kevin Hinks used to say that all the time. I love it. Everything can be undervalued, overvalued, right? Prices go low enough on these obsolete office buildings, you better believe you're going to do it, okay? It's the same thing as like in the mining business. It makes me think when gold is expensive enough, right? You have all the gold companies, they can go into areas that they didn't used to. They can spend money, whether it's crude, same thing, right? You drill for crude oil. When it's worth it, well, guess what? Once the price goes low enough, it doesn't matter how much they have to spend to convert that building, it's worth it. In New York City alone, analysts are forecasting 40 million square feet of offices to be converted into residential and other uses over the next 5 to 10 years. It's a big number when you're talking about 10 years, man. Yeah, so that one's coming. Now, that's a pro forma spreadsheet in terms of what's announced, okay? You got 225 is what is announced in 2027 to be coming down the line. But yeah, you can't deny when you just look at last year alone, 94 office conversions were completed just last year alone. Higher rates are going to be a problem, though, on that one. We get rates coming down, then you really see it. You know, you can announce it, but we'll see what the rate environment looks like when you have to finance that type of development activity. Nonetheless, big numbers there. All right, we talked some JetBlue. Yeah, how about Adobe? So Adobe, they're launching a standalone app for generating AI videos and images. They're no fools. They know what's taking over the internet right now. What have we been talking about, right? Yeah, we've been talking about the tremendous leaps that AI has had, whether you're talking about Google VO3, whether you're talking about ChatGPT, whether you're talking about many of the other apps, Anthropic, Pika, some of the ones that you can download. But yes, Adobe on Tuesday released a standalone Firefly mobile app for Android and iOS, and they're trying to put a larger spotlight on their AI-powered image generation and editing tool. At first glance, I found myself saying, how are they going to compete? How's a company like Adobe going to compete when you're talking about competing with Google, Gemini, all this stuff, right? So Adobe this morning, you're just negative with the market right now. We jump over to Adobe. You're talking about a company that's valued at $170 billion, okay? 170, folks. My goodness, right? So they can be a competitor when you're talking about that type of valuation and the money that they have. We take a look at this thing on a weekly, longer term. Yeah, I remember this thing even during the pandemic. Yeah, how about that run, man? $700 during the pandemic. We're finding a little bit of a bid coming into this huge volume bar we had from September of 2022 when you bottomed out. Get a little bit of capitulation. You get all the selling there from 700 down to 300 in the span of less than a year. You almost get it all back, and then you do it again, right? Man, the market is vicious sometimes. And think about that. You almost get it all back from 7 to 300. You get to a high of 638. And then you say, within a year, you're going to give it all back again. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll talk AI. We'll take a look at Google, folks. Stay tuned. We're coming back for the opening bell. Don't go away.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento for the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got equities open, and you got the equities catching a bid. We've been charging higher coming into the opening bell. Check it out. When I was getting ready for the program, coming on at 9 o'clock, we were trading at 6,057. We're pushing the pre-market session highs. Right now, S&P's down by just 0.3%. NASDAQ 100 off by 72 points or 0.3% as well. You see that run? We're pushing those pre-market, and I say the pre-market session highs from that first acceleration lower right out of the gate when futures opened at Sunday night. Dow, negative by 172 or 0.4%, and the Russell off by 14. We're checking on yields. A little bit of lower price, 4.42 right now on the 10-year as we come into Fed Day tomorrow. Now, they technically start their meeting today, but you're not going to get any headlines until tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Federal Reserve decision tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, you'll get that decision. They're not going to move rates, folks. Maybe they'll put something in the message about what they're looking for going forward, but they're not going to move the rates. You're going to be at 4.25 to 4.5%. I just showed you that the market's looking for maybe 2 cuts by the end of the year, is where they're basically pricing in right now. And we got the dollar sitting at 98.18 right now. All right, we check out some of the equities. Talking Google gets a little bit on the open, negative by just 0.2% right now. Amazon with a strong day yesterday. They're playing. Look at these stocks, man. Nvidia shares flat right now at 144. JetBlue. All right, they're down by 2.4%, but they've caught a bid on the open at 446. I find myself, wanting to find a bid in this equity, folks, because as a technical trader, okay, you look at this equity, you're darn right that I like getting into an equity where you're trading into a floor that it was at 17 years ago, okay, that a floor that it was at in 2011, floor it was at in 2012, floor it was at in 2023. But man, look at these volume numbers, right? You spike lower in April with volume. You catch a small bid and boom, just like that, we're going to come back down and test these April lows yet again. Not sure you're going to make it with volume, but very difficult to find a sign of strength on this chart. You can go to the April 28th bar there on a weekly basis. That was some volume. And so that's kind of the line in the sand. 386 is the low there. Right now you're down by 11 pennies. JetBlue. They're trimming everything. They're trying to save money and they're not going to break even. That means they're going to lose money this year. There you go. All right, so the Senate bill is out and solar credits not happening. First Solar down by 21% out there. You jump over to Sunrun, another equity, down 42.5% out there. Yeah. Solar Edge, down 40%. All right, we jump over to Roku shares this morning. Up by 1.8%, continuing the acceleration we got yesterday. So they get an upgrade to buy from hold at Loop Capital. They're looking for $100 up from 80. And yeah, they got an exclusive partnership with Amazon that would enable advertisers to reach 80 million U.S. households. Now, I'm going to have to dig into this one a little bit more. Because, yeah, nonetheless. So they're going to pool the connected TV audiences for advertisers is what they're going to do, right? And you're going to have the Fire interface and then the streaming Roku channel. Okay, they're going to pool those addressable audiences via Amazon's demand-side platform, and then you're going to allow marketers to buy up impressions tied to Amazon's Prime Video, Roku channel, and other streaming services available on Roku and Fire TV. And this is, so I did, I'm going to have to dig into it, because if they're patching into everybody's streaming with all the ads, that's a different story. Maybe somebody can help me out in the Tigers Den. Is that what's going on? Their partnership will make available a pool of 80 million connected TV households in the U.S. Roku works with other demand-side platforms. The combination of the Roku and Amazon user bases in this deal could boost the scale advertisers can get in an era when audiences have grown increasingly fragmented. I guess so. I don't really think of them as very fragmented. I mean, I know what they are talking about, okay? I have all my different streaming applications. But you hit a few of them and you hit everybody, right? You hit Netflix, you hit Max if you want that demographic, you hit where you want to hit. I'll pull it up. I'm going to dig into that one, all right? And I'm going to be doing the show this afternoon. I'm going to dig into that one because what's fascinating there, and I used to love Roku, and it would make sense almost if one of these companies had purchased them, especially going back, all right? That made a lot of sense when this thing was in the doldrums. All right, and I'm talking about down at 38, 39 doldrums, not at 82, because right now you jump over, and yeah, you're talking about a company that's valued at $12 billion. All right, that's a different number than looking at $4 or $5 billion, where you pick up something, maybe Disney snaps them up in the same degree, right? Amazon should have snapped them up at $3 or $4 or $5 billion if that was the type of advertising deal potentially they wanted to do. Probably not going to happen with $12 billion, where then you got to get a premium on top of it. Right? I use it for free local TV stations as well, Duffy. I love it. Sometimes I watch Boston local news on my Roku. I watch my Boston news, man. I watch that weather. I watch the local news. Not often, because local news in Boston, kind of like all I'm hearing about is that Karen Reed trial. Nonetheless, I digress. But we jump over that Dedham Courthouse. I went to school right down the street from that Dedham Courthouse, folks. I'll tell you a quick story. Dedham Courthouse, right? My beautiful high school, Noble and Greeno High School in Dedham, Massachusetts. You're looking for an amazing middle school, high school, Noble and Greeno in Dedham, Massachusetts. Very fortunate to go there. Dedham Courthouse, right down the street from where we were, actually. And when I was there, this is a good one. When I think about, okay, I'm looking it up right now. So, Mo Vaughn, okay? I'm going back, folks. 1998. Good old Mo Vaughn, all right? In March of 1998, I just had to look up the year. I knew it was going to be my senior year. Now, the Karen Reed trial is going on at this Dedham Courthouse, okay? But Mo Vaughn was there in March of 1998, it looks like. Somewhere in 1998, my senior year in high school, for a DUI trial. Mo Vaughn. He actually ended up getting off. He did. And it was a spectacle. The students would go over. Mo Vaughn would show up. The Red Sox would be there. Nonetheless, I love watching local news on the Roku. It's pretty cool. Amazon, though, also has similar stuff if you've ever tried it. Amazon has live television within their interface as well, within the Prime app. They do a good job of it as well. But Roku's got some great free live television that you can watch. It's kind of like semi-live sometimes, though. They call it live. It's really not live. Sometimes it is live. Nonetheless, you're up by 9/10% right now. But the other part of that is I pull up my Roku and I hit the Netflix button usually, many times, unless I'm going in there. And if you're going in there, well, we'll see. They're going to try and sell you some ads with Amazon, but Roku up another 1% today in a negative market day. Stay tuned, folks. We'll talk some other equities. Don't go away.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direction. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direction.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Crude trading at 71.74, up $1.49. And yeah, there's a real potential for some volatility, to say the least. Excuse me. All right, we jump over to what else we have going on. So Kraft Heinz, always amazing how long it takes. This one's one of the easy ones, right? And RFK Jr., controversial figure. Now, how to put it? I think he has a lot of good in him. I think he's also off the rails on certain segments. But guess what? There's a lot of hope for greatness, even if you disagree with some of the stuff going on. And yeah, artificial dyes, probably well past due getting out of the food. But it's amazing that you're talking about that they're going to be in there by the end of 2027. They need 2.5 years to stop using artificial dyes. Why do they need that long? Well, we can't have corporate profits getting hurt, right? It's always, there's always, you see the uproar, you see how people get upset when stuff like this even happens, right? It's going to take 2.5 years for this company to remove the dyes from their products before the end of 2027. Are you kidding me? And they think that's a good thing? Where's RFK Jr. on that one? You got to give them 30 months? We can put a man on the moon in 30 months. They can't take an artificial dye out. My favorite part of this article is that Kraft Heinz says, oh yeah, it's like not even a big deal, and it's going to take them 2.5 years, right? The vast majority use natural and no colors, and we've been in a journey to reduce them. Yeah. For most products, Kraft Heinz says it can replace artificial colors with natural ones. I mean, it's like insane. With existing colors, harder to recreate naturally, like greens and blues, the company said it replaced those with other colors. In products where color is not critical, Kraft Heinz will remove them entirely. They make it like it's not a big deal, and then they got to do it 2.5 years. Are they harmful or are they not harmful? If they're taking them out because they're harmful, maybe they could do it in less than 2.5 years. Yeah, nonetheless, you look at what it's in: Kool-Aid, Jell-O, Jet Puffed products. Kraft Heinz said that nearly 90% don't use artificial dyes. Well, that means, you know what that means? 10%, 1 out of 10 products use artificial dyes, and they're going to keep them in there for the next 30 months. They'll guarantee they'll get them out. Yeah, long overdue for sure, man. Kraft Heinz, watch out for that chart, baby. Look at this thing. Maybe this is what a chart looks like when it takes you 2.5 years to take out an artificial dye. Whew. All right, watch out for this equity, folks. I haven't looked at this one in a while. And volume is accelerating, man. There is no reprieve whatsoever. I'm going to back it up even more. Yeah, we're coming into the lows of COVID. You hit $20, $19.99 to be exact. But realistically, you had a small body, you had the wide tail on the rip lower on COVID. The next month you accelerate higher from a low of about 23.36. Today we're basically flat, but even on a daily basis. Look at these lower lows, lower highs, right? It's going to take them 2.5 years. That's something that, that's a real missed opportunity. I know, and other countries have been doing it for the longest time. That's what always made no sense. We all know it. We all see it. But it's going to take 2.5 years. I mean, imagine, here I am chastising them, right, when they're doing something good, but it's going to take them 2.5 years. I mean, come out and say it's long past due. Do something 2.5 years, man. You should be staying away from that food anyway, like you're talking about. Easier said than done. Everything in moderation. But, yeah. You know what I find? I eat a lot more fruit. Tommy, trying to get Tommy some good food. He eats a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of fruit. Eat a lot of fruit. Fruit is the best, man. Some lean proteins, all that good stuff. Veggies. Make some good veggies. You want to make some good veggies, folks? I love Brussels sprouts, okay? All you need for Brussels sprouts is some good olive oil, some salt, pepper, maybe some garlic powder. Put some garlic in there as well. Mix them all up. Throw them in the oven at 400 or 425. Mix them around occasionally, maybe 40 minutes or so. Delicious. Some good olive oil. Saute those veggies. Get them going. We digress. Easier said than done. Well, look at this chart. It speaks for it, man. They're in trouble. We jump over to Celsius. We were talking about Celsius yesterday. You pop higher on their upgrade, giving back some of those gains with the market right now. All right, we jump around some of the equities. Look at Amazon on negative market day. Amazon up by almost 90 pennies to 217. You jump over to Apple, negative by 1% right now. Microsoft off by 0.8%. Meta's been on a tear, giving back $2 today, off 0.3% at $699.91. We jump over to Boeing shares, holding its own near 202. You're positive today, up by 24 cents. We check in on Kamiko. This thing's a beast. Just keeps going. Positive today, up by 12 pennies. Jump over to that gold contract, sitting at about 34.09 right now. Check out some of the gold equities. Yeah, Harmony's been struggling, man. The run up to 1877. But look at this formation in Harmony, right? Now, yeah, you could be building a consolidation here for the next leg higher. We'd need a side of strength. The only volume day we have that correlates to some big volume with a green day really didn't get any action at all. Maybe you could say we resisted that $14 area on Harmony. But look at the give back on Harmony. As you have gold pushing 3,400. Yeah, IAG, one of the stronger ones, up by 0.9% right now. Agnico Eagle as well, one of the strongest equities in the report. Agnico Eagle up by 20 pennies at 124.21 right now. Jump over to McEwen. Quite a break from that channel from McEwen. And that's how you like to see it break out of the channel line. Ideally, you'd want to see this come back and test. McEwen down by 1% so far this morning. We jump over to some of the silver stocks. First, Majestic up 8 cents. We jump over to silver right now. Yeah, silver catching a bid. Look at silver, man. Silver makes new highs today. New recent highs, we'll call them. Look at this thing, man. All right. Silver's up here trending into highs we have not seen, folks, in 14 years. 37.07 for the price of silver. All right, folks, S&Ps. Back to a 5-minute. Just chopping around. Negative by 26. We got Fed Day tomorrow. Come back. We'll finish up. Take a look at some more equities. Don't go away.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the Opening Call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got Microsoft shares down by $4.30, off 0.9%. An interesting one from the Journal yesterday afternoon. Comes out, OpenAI and Microsoft tensions are reaching a quote-unquote boiling point. And there's a lot going on, obviously, with these two companies. Amazing that you go back 6 years ago when it started. They invested $1 billion in 2019. There's a lot. OpenAI and Microsoft are at a standoff over terms of the startup's $3 billion acquisition of coding startup Windsurf. Microsoft currently has access to all of OpenAI's IP. According to their agreement, it offers its own AI coding product, okay, that competes with OpenAI. So imagine, they have all of the IP, and then they're launching competitors, right? Yeah. OpenAI doesn't want Microsoft to have access to the Windsurf intellectual property. What they're really battling over as well is how much of OpenAI Microsoft would own if it converts into a public company. And you're never going to believe this, folks, but Microsoft's currently asking for a larger stake than OpenAI is willing to give. Imagine how much that number can vary. And what I always struggle to understand here is who has the leverage when they need to find a number like that? And the number can vary so greatly when you're predicating off some magnificent future growth. So that's a little bit of a tail risk out there for Microsoft, because there's a potential for that relationship to blow up. And the last part of that article I didn't even get to here is that OpenAI, let me get to the line. Yes, OpenAI execs have discussed what they view as the nuclear option, accusing Microsoft of anti-competitive behavior during their partnership, that effort could involve federal regulatory review of the terms for antitrust and all that. That headline could come. And guess what? Microsoft is priced almost for perfection right now. You just made all-time highs on Microsoft yesterday at 480.69. Markets negative by 20 in the S&Ps. Folks, thanks so much. Stay tuned. Basil Chapman, he's coming up with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Larry Pesavento's back today.